Constitution. When a deputy president, there are some interesting comments you made lately about deep state and system, saying that some people, whoever they are, have deep state, they have the system, but you have God and people. Coming from the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, who is in government, as you said, who knows everything in government, who is deep state, who's the system?
I think you should ask Oburu Odinga. He is the owner of this narrative of deep state and system.
But you have been talking about it not once, not twice.
No.
It might be something that concerns you. Surely you should have found out whether there's anything like that.
You know, there is a fallacy which we must deal with. There is a narrative that is being weaved together that elections are not won, they are stolen, according to some people who cannot live with the reality that it's possible to lose an election. And to explain why they lost the election is to create a bogeyman called deep state and system. And you have heard them, talk about, we won the elections, but because we didn't have the system, we didn't have the deep state, our election was stolen. Let me tell you, Joe, we won the elections in 2013 fair and square. President Uhuru Kenyatta won the elections again in 2017 fair and square. And that is why I was telling whoever thinks that there is another way of winning elections other than canvassing the electorate to enjoy themselves and continue waiting for the so-called deep state and system. I know from where I sit that it is God in heaven and the people that matter in any election.
So you go on record
for your
tonight,
information, I have been in election from 1997.
In 2007, I saw you at KICC. We spoke a couple of times. And at that time, you believe some people had stolen the victory that you had won.
It was not me. It was Kivuitu. Kivuitu, you had Kivuitu.
No, you complained about a stolen elections.
Because
you were giving us figures from Juja.
Absolutely, because it was Kivuitu himself who was running the elections, who was telling us, I have no clue. Now, the chairman of the Electoral Commission was telling us, I have no clue where the returning officers are. I am not sure of these numbers. I am not clear about this, right? So what do you do when the arbiter, when the fellow who is supposed to tell us whether the election has gone this way or that way is unsure themselves? I don't think we have been in any other scenario where the Electoral Commission have not been sure about the outcome of an election.
But ODM at the time, which you were part of, said that you had won that election, but it was rigged, it was stolen. Are you saying today that you're not sure whether you won 2007 or not?
Let me tell you, Joe, finally, the elections were declared and Mwai Kibaki emerged the winner, right, of that election. And that's it. That's the fact. That is history, right? That is history.
Are you saying that elections in this country have never been rigged, cannot be rigged? Is that your position?
Any election that is rigged, and I'm not saying that there are not cases where elections are rigged. When an election is rigged, people go to court and they overturn them. And the courts look at the numbers, they look at the figures, and the elections are overturned, right? So I'm not saying there is the best way to know whether an election was rigged or not rigged is to subject it to due process that comes up with an outcome that confirms whether the election was fair or not fair, whether it was rigged or it was fair. So, but from where I sit, it is not easy to rig an election and get away with it. It's not easy.
So all those supporters of ODM who believed that in 2007 the election was not fair, and at the time, I remember very well, a number of you in ODM voiced concern and said that this election had been fiddled with, that it was actually not the true representation of the people. Are you today saying that was all just talk in ODM, or you don't know?
You see, we didn't finally get to a point where we tested what we were saying as against what was announced. If we had gone to an election petition, for example, and like ODM did in 2017, yeah, or NASA for that matter, did in 2017, they went to an election. They had complaints. They had concerns. They went before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court looked at the whole election. They came up with a verdict. We didn't agree with it as Jubilee because we believed we had won fair and square. The courts decided otherwise, that we hadn't won fairly. What did we do? We subjected ourselves. We submitted ourselves to another election, right? We went back to the people. And that is what should be the case. And while on that point, Joe, you know, there is the issue where we are even battling now with, you know, there are several issues that are being put on the table. Some of it being projected against the elections before, that, you know, we have not had elections that are credible. And that is why we need to change the constitution. That's why we need to engage in the process of BBI. We've had many suggestions, including how do we deal with this thing called winner take all and that kind of thing. Right? It's all against that backdrop, against that background, you know, that people are asking themselves, are elections rigged? Do we have credible elections? And I have my thoughts around it, if you allow me. First, when we say winner take all, what are we saying? Because the ultimate of a competition is that there will be a winner and a loser, right? That's a democracy. There will be a winner and a loser. The process must make it possible for us to arrive at that outcome credibly, right? Credibly. And if there is any issue about the outcome, there is a process like the one NASA took in 2017 of going to an election court and determining whether it was fair or not, right? Now, I have a small problem with us making suggestions that may give the indication that we don't want a democracy. We don't want to compete. My friend Joe, I mean, if we run away from a democracy, what are we going to? How do we arrive? Because when you go to an election, it is not necessarily about people competing. It's about policy positions. We go to elections to give Kenyans options. You know, when Kenyans say we are voting for this. They are voting for their belief in what that political party is proposing as their policy position.
This winner-take-all when a deputy president, I would imagine that you know that the person who has spoken the most about it is actually the president, including yesterday in his speech where he was actually talking about us running away from this situation where winner takes all. A zero-sum game, he called it, where the winner takes it all.
No, but you see, that's what we need to unpack. You know, what does it mean? Yeah? What does it mean?
What does it mean to you?
No, because we need to follow through. We must continue, in my very honest opinion, to have elections. What we must do is to make sure those elections are credible. When we say that we want an outcome where there is no winner, no loser, what do we mean? You know, we are completely misunderstanding the whole scenario. What must be the case is like what we did in Jubilee. We won the election, but the policy positions we proposed when we went to the elections, they were not for Jubilee members. They were for Kenyans. When we ran the whole program of technical training colleges, it is in every constituency in Kenya. When we ran our electricity program, it is in every part of Kenya, every Kenyan, 45 million of us. When we ran the program on our infrastructure, road, rail, it is a national program. So let us not misunderstand that if one person wins, you know, they go and work for the people who voted for them. That's not the case, right? They work for everybody. And whoever does not win in that election, right, it's not that they have lost, right? It is that they have a different job. Now they will not govern, but they will provide oversight. And that oversight is as important as the people governing, because the proposals that have been made, which Kenyans have voted for, it is now the responsibility of the people in the opposition to make sure that those policies are implemented by the people who have been elected, or the party that has been elected. And it also gives an opportunity for the people who did not win, or who lost for that matter, to refashion, you know, their policy positions, to rethink, you know, and present themselves at the next election.
That's a very powerful. That point is very powerfully made.
That's what we should look at.
But I would like to put you on record on this whole issue of the push, as we speak right now, to amend the Constitution. Yes. What is your view on this attempt to amend the 2010 Constitution?
Well, first, I don't know what is being amended. Right?
Would you like to be it to be amended?
But you must know first what is being amended.
No, it's not like there are some people out there coming to amend it. It's Kenyans like you. Would you like it to see it amended? That is a fair question.
You know, Joe, that's not a very fair question.
No, it is.
You know, you're putting the cart before the horse. I mean, what are the issues? What are we trying to deal with? To the best of my knowledge, this whole push is being pushed by leaders. It's not being pushed by the public, by the people. The people, at this moment in time, and I engage with many of them, the people are concerned about their jobs. They have lost jobs. They have lost livelihoods. They are concerned about their children. They are concerned about what they will eat. At this point in time, they are concerned about this corona. Where is it going to end? There seems to be no end in sight. That is their concern. That's the concern of many people. And I would wish that those of us who are in leadership can plug into that conversation where Kenyans are thinking about their livelihoods. Unfortunately, many of us are concerned more about how we are going to rearrange the Constitution so that we can, I don't know, create some positions. You know, this thing about changing the Constitution is very weird. We went to Bomas. The first draft was brought to us, and everybody said, fine. If this is the document, we have absolutely no problem with it, because largely it presented issues that were to be implemented, administrative issues, policy issues, and not much, right? And we all agreed. But then, I don't know who complained, because I have never heard anybody who complained about the document. But somehow, the document was taken back. And now we are waiting. So we don't know whether it will come the way it was, or whether it is. Do you have a clue of what could be in this thing?
I think the president does, because yesterday he actually said this is the time to amend the Constitution.
Yes.
He spent a good part of his speech yesterday speaking about the need to amend the Constitution. So I'm finding it very strange that...
There is nothing strange. You see...
I'm finding it very strange that where you sit, you actually think it is not a priority, that the priority is delivery of services to the people and all of these things. You are in the same party with the president. You ran on the same platform. I would imagine that your policy priorities would be the same at this point. It clearly is not, because... Are you
aware, Joe, that the only political party who did not have a position in the BBI is Jubilee? Are you aware that there was no position that was presented to BBI that came from Jubilee as a party? Because it is not a matter we discussed in the party. Right? And I am not saying what you're saying. What I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, when this document is finally unveiled, it will have some things that would actually persuade us that it is a priority at the moment, and then maybe we can persuade the people that yes, your priority could be food, could be your job, could be your business, could be your child going to school. But we have another priority here, you know? And you know, the Constitution is a social contract. It is between the governed and the governors, right? So it's not something for us to decide as government. Right?
You'd understand but you'd understand my dilemma here.
It is something that has to be worked out, right? Between Kenyans, you know, between Kenyans. It's not a government position that we are taking a position as government.
So you are saying, Dr. Ruto, that the things that the president has been saying, neither Jubilee position nor government position, those are his personal views as Uhuru Kenyatta?
Well, I don't know about that, but the best of my knowledge, we have never had a meeting as Jubilee to discuss, right, about our position in changing the Constitution.
That being an important issue that it is your philosophy, you said, yet we haven't seen you give those views to the BBI, which at this moment, that task force is supposedly the one that is going to bring the report that could be taken to a referendum, that could determine how this constitutional issue is settled. How is it that these views that you hold so strongly haven't been shared with this task force?
Joe, one, we haven't presented to the task force a party position. I would have canvassed my party.
That's a personal view, and there are individuals who've presented.
I would have canvassed my position. And I have pushed for my position using other avenues into the BBI. The conversation as to whether they will take them up or not is a different story.
So you have spoken to the BBI team?
Not directly, but I have made sure that they have, those views are part of what they have. Yeah.
There are people listening to you
because I did not, now that the president, who is my boss, did not present his views, and we did not present views as a party, I didn't want to look like I am, doing something that is not quite correct. That's why I decided, let me use alternative avenues so that it remains tidy.
A lot of people listening to you, Bwana DP, will be saying, you and the president seem to be having all these diametrically opposed views on even very fundamental things. The president seems to have seized this matter of changing the constitution as an important part of his legacy. And he, in fact, believes that the BBI is a vehicle through which this is going to be delivered. But from everything that you've been saying, it doesn't appear to me that you have that much confidence in what is going on right now around changing the constitution.
You see, changing the constitution...
You wouldn't even say whether it should be changed right now or not.
No, changing the constitution is not something that we can decide as a party, because it is something for all Kenyans to do. It's not something that I can say my legacy is to change the constitution. Right? It is something that Kenyans, supposing I say my legacy is to change the constitution and then Kenyans don't change the constitution. What does that mean? Right? So that cannot be. And I don't think the president has said changing the constitution is part of his legacy.
No, he doesn't have to say it, Bwana DP. We have seen he has invested so much political energy. He has even got into a deal with the person who was his fiercest rival in the election. And it seems to me that changing the constitution is an important part of it. So important that yesterday, on the back of a COVID-19 briefing, he found it necessary to remind the country
but you see,
important to change the constitution.
It seems to you, right?
It doesn't seem to you?
It seems to you that is what you are imagining what the president wants. Yeah? But the president, he knows how to change the constitution. Are you telling me the president does not know that to change the constitution you have to involve the people of Kenya? Yeah? And for your information, what I am saying does not mean that the constitution will not be changed. Those are my views. But ultimately, Joe, what will happen is whether we change the constitution, it will be Kenyans to decide to change the constitution. And I'm a Democrat, And I live with what Kenyans, the majority of Kenyans have decided. Yeah, I had views about this the constitution we have today. Yeah, but when Kenyans decided that this is the constitution, I folded my views and lived with the constitution that there is.
And yet now there's an opportunity to change it, and you don't think it is a priority?
I have my own views, about changing the constitution. Right? I need to be persuaded on what areas to change. I will, I don't think we want to change the constitution for the sake of changing the constitution. If there are persuasive areas that will make the constitution better, that will be presented when the new draft of proposals come up, we are reasonable people, right? We will look at it, and if they merit, the people of Kenya will decide, and we will do what we have to do.
As we finish
this, but you cannot say that I cannot have views, because that's what you seem to be saying, and that by having my own views, and they are not the same as the ones of the president or the ones of Raila or the ones of the next guy, then you find that there is a problem. Are you saying that we cannot have different views?
what I am saying, maybe I haven't spoken very good English, but this is the question.
Because I'm trying to be.
This is what I want to find out from you today.
Yes.
Are you going on record to say that as the Deputy President or as William Ruto or in whatever capacity, you do not think that today it is a priority for us to change the 2010 Constitution?
Until I am persuaded.
By who?
By the contents. You know, do you know what needs to be changed? Joe, maybe you are in a better position than me. Many Kenyans are in my position. I happen to
be asking the questions tonight. No, answering.
Do you know what needs to be? Do you have a clue of what needs to be changed? Because if it was what we saw in Bomas 1, we have absolutely, and I made my position very clear. We have absolutely no problem.
So as it is now, you don't see a reason to change it?
I don't have a basis because I don't have a document. And I don't have a position.
When you look, it's not like the document, it's not like the positions are coming from another country. I'm saying when you look at the 2010 Constitution, which I'm sure you have read as the Deputy President, do you find anything there that is pressing enough to be changed in 2020 as we speak?
I think what is much more pressing is something like the gender rule that we have not implemented. I think that's something that we should be concerned about. Right? Because it is a live pronouncement of the new constitution. And we have a duty to make sure that every article and every clause of the constitution is implemented.
What is your standing within the Jubilee Party today?
What do you mean standing?
Because we've seen a cacophony going on in that party. We don't even know who is, for example, the vice chair of the party resigned, come back. We don't know anything that's going on in the party. Is Jubilee functioning as a party?
Well, of course, Jubilee is not functioning as a party. There is a problem. You know, we have a challenge in the party because President Uhuru Kenyatta and I and many other people worked tirelessly to put together a national political party. We folded about 10 or 12 political parties to form Jubilee. I went out of my way. I was running a party with 75 members of parliament called URP. Uhuru Kenyatta was running TNA. Many other people were running other parties. I remember I went out of my way to persuade people like Kiraitu Murungi to fold the bus. I went out of my way to persuade people like Ken Lusaka. I even had to organize a delegation for the leadership of New Ford Kenya then, for me to speak to them about why it was necessary for us to form a national political party. And it was our position then with President Uhuru Kenyatta that we should have a party that is national, where every Kenyan from every persuasion, from every community would feel at home in that party. And that is how we formed Jubilee as a party, right? And I am very passionate about a national political party because I know therein lies the solution to our problems, political problems as a nation. The only way we can get rid of ethnicity, we can get rid of regionalism, we can actually entrench values of gender balance and all the other good values is when we have a functional national political party. And if there is one thing that I want to achieve as a politician, is to finally make Jubilee a national political party a party that every community in Kenya feels at home. The President Uhuru Kenyatta, as our party leader, has laid the foundation, right? And today, out of 41 counties, we have elected either MCA, Member of Parliament, Senator, Governor, in 41. It's only in 6 counties that we didn't find somebody elected in the last general election, right? Unfortunately, and this is tragic, you know, the party has been hijacked by busybodies and conmen, you know, and brokers like Murathe and company. Yeah? People who have no clue where why the philosophy behind Jubilee, they were nowhere. Yeah? We appointed them into those positions as a caretaker, waiting for us to have elections so that we can have elected officials in the party. Unfortunately, they have hijacked the party, and they are now running it in a way that is unbelievable. They are running it through fiat. You know, you take this position or you get out of the party. This is the party position. You ask them, when did the party meet? You know, they have changed. Their word has become the party position. Have you consulted the party leader? Have you consulted the deputy party leader? Now, that is the challenge we have in Jubilee.
Why would that be a challenge, Dr. Ruto, considering that you and the president, as you said, worked very hard to build this party? He is the president. That's a very powerful position, even in the country. You are the deputy president. You're speaking almost as if you do not have any control whatsoever. Have you lost control of the party?
Admittedly, there is a problem in the party. You can see, you know, quite clearly.
Is that why I'm trying to find out, like, and, how can they overwhelm the two of you?
The same, and I have told them, the same virus that infected Kanu and finally killed it, the virus of people with a different opinion being kicked out of the party or of positions, has now come to Jubilee, unfortunately. You've seen close to 60 or so members of parliament have been ejected from committees, from positions in the party.
What do these people have?
Mainly,
do they have guns?
Mainly because they say they have a different view or position. You ask them, a different position from who? From what? Why? You know, there is only one government. There is only one leader, right? And you see, the mistake Kanu made was to kick out so many people until one day they discovered there were more people outside than inside. And what happened is that those who were outside ganged up. And that is how Kanu went into oblivion.
What you are saying may well be very true. This is just the one thing I'm sure the millions of supporters of Jubilee across Kenya tonight will be asking themselves. Yes. If the deputy president, who is the deputy party leader of this party, is speaking as if there are some people within the party that are more powerful than him, that have taken over the party in government and doing whatsoever they wish with the party, and he seemingly cannot do anything about it. That is mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling, Joe. But that is the sad story of our party. We have been unable to have any serious party meeting, yeah, to discuss anything, any policy positions or to discuss what should happen. And the position is really unfortunate. You've just said that there are public officials who insult me and call me names, right? The same ones now in Jubilee, they've gone public to say, we are not going to give Ruto the ticket, even if he wins in 2022. They have gone public to say, we can even choose not to field a candidate in 2022. We will try and sort this out as a party, I promise you. We will, of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and I as leader and party leader and deputy will have to find a way of sorting out these brokers.
The elephant in the room, Dr. Ruto, which you are not dealing with, in my view, is the president, the leader of this party.
How we can bring back the party to that party where we believed that it should be a party that we will leave behind, a party that would be a national political movement, that every community will belong, and we will all work within and take it forward. Let me tell you, if anything were to happen to Jubilee, the biggest losers will be President Uhuru Kenyatta and myself, because we have invested a lot of time and energy trying to put it together.
The president, he is the leader of this party. Does he share your concern? Surely he can't be powerless and helpless in the face of these brokers and conmen, as you call them?
Well, I guess we will overcome. It will come to a point when we will see what we have to do with our party. But the current management of the party, using people who have been elected by nobody, is really putting a strain on how we manage the affairs of the party.
Why don't you resign and just start something else that you, William Ruto, be in full control of? Because you don't seem to be in full control of Jubilee.
Where does the resign come from?
Because if you're within and there are people who have taken over a party, you sound very disappointed that the party you worked so hard to put together is going the wrong way, and you're almost throwing your hands in the air and saying, there's nothing I can do about it. Those people are doing whatever they want.
I haven't thrown
Supposing you had your own party where you can do whatever you think is right.
I haven't thrown my hands in the air. I still believe there is a chance and there is a possibility for us to sort out issues in Jubilee, because the kind of investment we've put in there, it will be tragic if we were to lose Jubilee. It would be tragic.
You have painted a rather desperate picture here about your party, Jubilee.
No, it's not desperate. It's because just a realistic figure, a realistic situation.
Yeah. So, but in a sense, it looks like a gloomy picture you're painting about your party. You're the deputy leader of that party. You have a leader of the party, and you're saying you're going to try and resolve these things. Hopefully, you will. But what happens if you don't manage?
You see, we will cross that river when we get there. And if it becomes completely hopeless and Jubilee is hijacked by these brokers, then Waswahili wanasema kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa kupika. Si ndio bwana? Lakini kupika lazima. So we will make that decision as Jubilee members at that point when it becomes impossible. If they succeed in this scheme, they are saying they will deny us an opportunity, or they will make sure that there is no fielding of candidates. Then we will look at the options at that point with the rest of the membership of the party.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. William Ruto, speaking to us on this 10th anniversary of the 2010 Constitution as we try to analyze what has happened, what has worked, what are the hits, what are the misses. Remember that our coverage, Katiba at 10, continues here on Citizen TV all week long. Good evening. My name is Joe again.